Blog Talk Radio.
We gon' bang that.
This is Nana. You're in tune to Rare Jewels with Clarity and Zen's on the beat. Keep it locked.
Real. This is Proverbs Wise. This is Proverbs Wise. Proverbs Wise. Representing VA, and you're in tune to the Rare Jewels mixtape with Clarity and Zen's on the beat. Keep it locked. Real.
Yeah, baby. You tuned in to Red Jewels. You got the right station. Don't touch that dial. Let's go. Yes, sir. Clarity and Clear Channel, a.k.a. Kid Cobalt, a.k.a. Paradise Skills. I'm supposing it's right to exhale light, so I breathe through mics the oxygen that I write. Opposite of fatal attractions, a theme with advice that I give away free, though it's worth a serious price. You know it. We in a day, a technological advancement. What God has made a myth is people's growth is backwards. Money piles up right next to their caskets. Modern day pharaohs get buried in their mansions. Frequency of the world set to a odd number. Rap music got guns, pop music gay lovers. Is it undercovers or so blatant we numb? Well, maybe not all of us, but a grandson. I kick a verse for the sons in the slums to learn. The world is yours, baby, but be wise with your turn. Cause as the world turns, the signs confirm. Hell's getting closer as the ozone burns. But listen, you tuned into the right station, man. Listen, don't touch that dial. This is the birth of the niggas' redemption. From where? From the plantation of the hood where I made my entrance. Slain by the system, renamed by the lynchmen. My pain now positions me for a new existence. My resurrection, I got my hood on my back. And my family tree that they tried to act. I'm Paul with these raps and I'ma take y'all to act. Show y'all Diana and our sister's booty crack. It's so heavy when revelation bricks your face. You know it. Who cares that you rockin' those babe and apes? When the whole world is full of babes and apes. Cowards with guns that wouldn't bust the grape. This is God's wrath you taste. Our podcast is grace and Comcast is face to the broadcast is great. Welcome to the kingdom that Jay-Z hinted at. And the truth behind fraud that Nas wanted back. Listen. You got the right station, man. It's a very clear channel, you know what I'm saying? It's Clarity, Paradise Skills, listen. I'm supposing I'm Moses when I pose with the boldness. Telling old Pharaoh face to face, you so bogus. Baloney with holocaust, I'm about to smash your cronies in chunks. No rollies, low budget, I roll holy, but blow and smash totally. Idols that kill poetry, flowing how it's supposed to be. Notice how I'm an open sea, but filtered through a fountain of faith. So y'all better build an art, cause the rain got a date. And when the tide go up, say bye to hell's gate. How low to God's face, cause then heaven is the place. Jesus said that earth was meant to be. Thy kingdom come is something that we all supposed to see. His will being done is his people being free. But that'll never happen till those people do believe. And I'm one that does, so get ready to receive. Stay tuned.
And it's the music of Rare Jewels taken from the CD Rare Jewels mixtape. You can find them and other artists we feature right here on our show page link, or just hit them up at www.myspace.com/2020clarity. That's myspace.com/2020clarity. Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to you and yours, wherever you are on the World Wide Web. You are listening to Let's Talk, brought to you by the Men Empowered Radio Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network at blogtalkradio.com. My name is Maurice Herron, a.k.a. Malachi. I am your host and founder for another edition of Let's Talk, brought to you by the Men Empowered Organization. It is a Thursday, January 24, 2013. If you'd like to join in on our show conversation while we are here live, you can hit us up at 347-205-9279, or you can chat with us right there in the chat room at Blog Talk Radio. So if you are ready to make a comment, press 1 on your phone and we will plug you right into our show conversation. And as always, and I always say, our office here at the Men Empowered Organization is area code 504-484-9388, as well as our email address is menempoweredtoprosper@yahoo.com. And yes, we are Men Empowered at Twitter.com. Tonight's show is an open forum. Whatever is on your mind, politically, spiritually, religiously, talk about any kind of war that's going on in the news. We're going to open the phone lines up for you to bring us the news right here on the Men Empowered Radio Show. Now, we've been bombarded since we've been back prime time. We have over 800 listeners listening to every show that we have. Some are in the archives, some are live, some are in the chat room, some are on the phone line. So if you're ready to whatever that is on your mind in those categories, we will go ahead and open the phone lines up to you. Now, I've got some things that is on my mind, so I want to not just bombard this with all what's on my mind, but let's go ahead and see what the Most High is bringing to you on your mind. So if you want to make a comment, you can hit us up at 347-205-9279, as well as those of you all who want to make comments or have questions in the chat room. But I've got some things that I got to get off my heart, off my chest. We are approaching Black History Month in February, and I want to kind of give you a tidbit of just a little bit of what is getting ready to happen, what they call Black History Month. But do you know we are Hebrews? So it's not Black History Month. It should be Hebrew History Month. Okay, so we're going to get into that in a little bit. I got a few announcements I really want to make. Just want to let you know upcoming events coming for the month of February, and that's right around the corner. February, we have Dick Allison. Dick Allison wrote an editorial in our local newspaper, the Hattiesburg American. He is a former pastor, retired pastor now, and also is a hospital staff chaplain. He will be bringing to us on our show next Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. He is going to talk about what he's been talking about for the past 12 years, about why he can't stop shutting up about stopping executions. And I believe I read that editorial to you all last week, and we will hear from retired pastor Dick Allison will be on our show next Thursday, and that will be the 31st, I believe, 30th or 31st. I'm not looking at my calendar right now, but next Thursday, he will be here at 8 p.m. He will be here on our phone lines. Also scheduled for the month of February, it is a spokesperson for the African American Military History Museum. Locally here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, we will have a spokesperson for that organization and the facility right here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So we have not locked down a date just yet, but it is forthcoming. Another guest that we will be having on our show coming up in February, we have not logged in a date just yet. He is Pastor Maurice Item. Pastor Maurice Item is from Mississippi. He will be bringing forth the word. He will be letting us know some of the things that we already teach on. He knew and was putting it out to the greater Hattiesburg, Mississippi area, as well as the greater Gulf. He put this thing out over 23 years ago. I was introduced to him by my now wife, which was my girlfriend. She was going to their fellowship right here in Mississippi. So the things he put down 24 years ago, 23, 24 years ago, we are now speaking about as we speak, and much, much more. So Pastor Item and I have a close relationship now. We have the Most High's interest, and we believe in putting forth the word the Most High. He also was a renegade and broke away from the Church of God in Christ. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Most High has on his heart. And I tell you what, you don't want to miss what he is going to bring. So that is just a little bit of what we have lined up for you in the month of February. Going to bring you maybe one or two announcements. And then remember what I said Tuesday night. I said Tuesday night, look up Fort Negro. That's right. I said Fort Negro. Negro. Fort Negro. So we're going to talk about that after this music break and announcement, and we will be right back after this music break and announcement.
Read it. Verse 12. Amos chapter 8, verse 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea.
And they shall wander from sea to sea. That means you're going from this place to this place. Well, let me go over here. Oh, Islam, I don't like that. Well, let me go over to the Christian church. I don't know. Well, maybe let me go into Hinduism. Well, I don't know. I don't like this church because this preacher says this. I don't like this church because this preacher says that. Let me tell you, if you were in the Word, it wouldn't matter what the preacher would say. If you was in the Word, you'll be able to see over what he teaches. But you're going from sea to sea, all over the place. Read.
Amos chapter 8, verse 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east.
Go ahead.
They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Most High, and shall not find it.
You're going to wish one day you was able to sit in your cushy house and cut on your computer and see the word of the Most High. You're going to long for that time. You're going to wish you had that opportunity. Soon reading the Bible is going to be against the law of the earth. Soon. They're moving everyone into a new age movement. And the only thing you can believe in is yourself. And you are being programmed. That's going to be the belief system. Yourself. That's the new age movement. How grim and dark the government of this earth is. That all of them are in league and are in bed with Satan. That's the truth. Not one of them are with the Most High. Why? Because this kingdom was given into the hand of Satan. Job 9 and 24 tells you the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So in order for you to rule in this government, you must go to Satan to get your power. He tried to offer it to Christ. Christ denied it. But who took it? All the governments in this earth who will soon pay. They live lavishly in this earth, off the bones, blood, sweat, and tears of the children of Israel. Yes, but now they have to pay. It's time. All these wars in the earth are culminating. They're leading to their own demise. And we're just the people with no weapon. This is our weapon. The only thing we have is this, Christ, in the name of the Most High, and we'll win.
It's the music and words of the Gathering of Christ Church. You can find them at www.gatheringofchrist.org. Just want to remind you that the Gathering of Christ Church can be heard right here on Blog Talk Radio, probably 5 days a week or 3-4 days a week, however they got their schedule. But you can look them up at GOCC, Gathering of Christ Church. You can look them up. They are here. As a matter of fact, tonight they had What Scripture Is That? So you definitely want to check that out. If it's gone off already, they have that logged into their archives. So I am a graduate of their Hebrew Academy and love promoting the Hebrew Academy, which is going on now as we speak. And for more information on the next Hebrew Academy scheduled class, which will probably be the latter part of February, shoot them an email at thegatheringas1, the number 1, at AOL.com. For more information on the Biblical Hebrew Academy, send them an email directly to their email address. Is the gathering as one, the number 1 now, not spelled out 1, the number 1 at AOL.com. And for more information on the Hebrew Academy, to look and get some titles or what's going on in the Academy, go to their official website. That is the Gathering of Christ Church.org. And as well, you can up all the deep revelations going on with the church at GOCC right here on Blog Talk Radio. So my announcements for that is done. The open mics are open at 347-205-9279. I only have about 50 mics, so it will be first come, first served. For those of you all who are listening right now, if you have any questions or comment, you need to press 1 on your phone. Once you finish with your comment and we want to get you out of the queue, we go ahead and press 1 again. Now, since Black History Month is coming up, I want to briefly just kind of share with you a little bit of information that I'm getting, and I've always get a lot of info from a historian by the name of Dr. Claude Anderson. You can look him up on YouTube. You can also go to his website, I believe is powernomics.org, I believe. If not, you can Google Dr. Claude Anderson and you get a whole host of information. But I'm always frequently visiting Dr. Claude Anderson for historical facts and everything. And while he was at Crenshaw Christian Center, he made several suggestive names and also particular events that came up in our history that we do not study in our educational classes. The name of this I want to entitle is Fort Negro. Now, the official world title of this can be basically found as Fort Garrison. That is the official name of that. Let's see if I'm not pronouncing it right. You can definitely look it up. Where did he get that name from? That don't sound like it's spelled. So I am from the South, so we're going to check it out. Fort Gadsden, Gadsden. So look that information up. You will see the history about that. That is about, officially, that is about 100 miles away from Pensacola, Florida, in that area. But let me just kind of, I pulled this up offline, and I wanted to get into some more detail because Dr. Claude Anderson was giving a big speech about this history. And when he was saying it, I said, I can't believe this really happened because we don't study this type of history. Only thing we study when it was coming around in Black History Month was like Nat Turner, and I'm not defaming Nat Turner. He was anointed to do what he had to do with the knowledge that he had, especially at that time. If you all read the history of Nat Turner, people were in fear of him. A black man, a Hebrew man. Nat Turner, little old bitty Nat Turner got these folks all scared. My. Well, you know the story if you look it up. Okay. Certain Negroes and outlaws have taken possession of a fort on the Appalachia River in the territory of Florida. Now, Florida at that time was not a territory of the United States, so you might as well say it was another country. Just like Texas was not a part of the United States at that time. They came down and they stole that. All right. Now, let me go on. Let me quit making these side journeys. All right. Possession of fort on the Appalachian River in the territory of Florida, wrote General Gaines on May 14, 1815. British agents helped the Seminoles construct the fort during the late stages of the War of 1812. Their plan was to recruit Indians and slave allies who would harass Georgia's slaveholders on the southern frontier. The war ended before the British put the plan into action, but the fort was complete. After the British and most of the Indians left, Fort Negro rapidly became a beacon for fugitive slaves. Now, when I read this, fugitive slaves, or you might as well say runaway slaves, this takes me back to Deuteronomy chapter 28 when it talks about your enemies. Your enemies at that time was the United States, because the United States had the Hebrew slaves in slavery. Duh. I mean, you know, when you read this in this Bible now, it makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, when I started reading it, when someone came to me and told me the truth, and it's like, where have we been all our life? What were we learning in church? We were learning the slave master's doctrine, not the truth to the word of the Most High, the slave master's doctrine. All right, by June of 1815, approximately 330 black warriors and 30 Seminole Indians, and I want to take a side journey again. For those of y'all who don't know, the Seminole Indians are the tribe of Reuben. All right, the Seminole Indians were stationed on the banks of the Appalachia at Prospect Bluff, protecting the region with 4 pieces of artillery, 6 light cannons, and a large stock of British ammunition and arms. So they were heavy fortified, you know, in that fort. One of the leaders was a charismatic, free, black or Hebrew man from Pensacola, Florida, named Garcon, who conducted affairs wearing a tainted British military uniform. Now, did they teach you this in your high school curriculum of Black History Month? Under the protection of black warriors and British arms, a community began to flourish, situated just 60 miles from Georgia. The fort attracted upwards of 1,000 black fugitives. So, you know, this is a refuge. Instead of going all the way to the north, they were coming down to Florida to the south. You know how many underground railroads we had at that particular time just to get free or have a little bit of freedom? My, if I was a fly on the wall, what stories would I tell today? Fugitives and Maroons took up residence in the surrounding fields. By 1816, they were cultivating crops and pastures for 45 miles up and down the river. Up and down the river. What does that remind you of? The Nile River, like we were in Egypt? All right. The force of Negroes was increased. They felt themselves so strong and secure that they commenced several plantations on the fertile banks of the Appalachia. Let me go on to the next bit of information. The fort was viewed as a menace to all slaveholders. Yeah, it would be, in the vicinity. General Jackson was incensed. As commander of the Southeast, he issued an ultimatum to the Spanish governor: destroy the fort, seize the lawless combatants who manned it, and return all U.S. Negroes who had been enticed from the services of their master. If not, Spain must face the consequences of harboring bandits or brigades. U.S. forces would invade Spanish territory and destroy the fort themselves. So they were getting ready to invade this thing if the Spaniards did not comply. Spain either to help or hinder Jackson, the general gathered forces for an invasion. In keeping with U.S. policies since the 1790s, Jackson enlisted the aid of Creek warriors who offered the Kowada Chief William McIntosh $50 a head for each American-owned slave his men could capture. The practice of sending Creeks against the Seminoles maroon dated back to the Treaty of New York in 1790, with roots in the colony-era slave trade. For the black Seminoles, this policy would have lingered terrifying consequences. Have you all seen that movie? What's the name of that movie I'm thinking about? One of my a great actor, Native American actor that is in that. It is Geronimo. I saw this when I saw this name, the Kiowa, however you pronouncing it. It brought back, because I heard this name of that tribe so much. It brought back that movie. It just triggered in me about what Geronimo said about the name of his particular tribe that was up in there. But moving along, to destroy the fort, Jackson dispatched General Gaines. The 39-year-old career officer was already famous for his service in the War of 1812 and the arrest in 1807 of Aaron Burr. His leadership of the Negro Fort attack was the first of many insertions with the black Seminoles. Jackson's orders to Gaines made it clear this was a mission to return stolen property. You hear that, you black folks? You were stolen property. Jackson was sending the army on a slave-catching expedition without regard to national consequences or Spanish sovereignty. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Stolen property. But it's all there in Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 through 64. Jackson and Gaines was destined to enter the plateau of early Florida heroes, as was their fellow commanders in the attack of Duncan Lamar Clinch. Lieutenant Colonel Clinch had been in the Army since 1808, rising quickly up the ranks despite an undistinguished career. He also rose quickly in Florida society, eventually becoming one of the region's most prospective planters and slave holders. On June 10, 1816, Gaines dispatched the young planter colonel to meet the invading force. All right. Where am I right now? Let's see. Here we go. We'll go ahead and do this. At the end of the tense standoff lasting several days after they did their attack, Gargo and his men hosted the Union Jack on July 27th. They fired upon the U.S. gunboat in defiance. The gunboats fired back. The 9th U.S. round was heated red hot. The cannonball penetrated the magazine of the fort, causing a massive explosion. So, this is this gunboat here going on and shooting a cannonball at the fort. The cannonball penetrated the magazine of the fort, causing a massive explosion. Clinch described the scene in an account written for the Army and Navy Chronicles. The explosion was so awful, in an instant, lifeless bodies were stretched upon the plain or suspended from the tops of the surrounding pines. Here lay an innocent baby, there a helpless mother. The brave soldier was disarmed of his resentment and checked his victorious career to drop a tear on the distressed scene. More than 250 black Seminoles, freed blacks, and Indians died in the ensuing carnage. Creek mercenaries captured as many of the survivors as possible. Within weeks of the Creeks had divided up the survivors among various divided up. Now this caught my attention. Let me read that again. Within weeks, the Creeks, those are the Native Indians, because they was bounty hunters to me. Within weeks, the Creeks had divided up the survivors among various slaveholders. The Creeks also salvaged a treasure trove of weapons from the ruins: 2,500 muskets, 50 carbines, 400 pistols, and 500 swords. Jackson's plan had been a complete success. In one blow, his army had destroyed the heart of the black resistance in western Florida. So you can find that information. You just go ahead and Google Fort Negro, and you'll get a whole slew of information that is on there. Although the black Seminoles in West Florida had suffered an inconceivable loss, their communities in East and Central Florida remained intact. Within days, the settlements of the Sioux welcomed hundreds of refugees from the West. Young John Horse, this is another name you really need to Google, because Dr. Claude Anderson talked about him at Crenshaw Christian Center as well. Within days, the settlement of the Sioux welcomed hundreds of refugees from the West. Young John Horse was living on the Sioux, and you really need to look at his story. And I don't really have time to talk more about it, but this man was going back and forth from the United States to Mexico, freeing blacks and bringing them through the West. This is how the Hebrews got to the West Coast of the United States. Some of them, it started that way. They were bouncing back and forth from Mexico to the West U.S. All right. One can only imagine the grieving, the sense of loss for friends and relatives, for a way of life that had briefly flowed on the banks of the Appalachia. John Horse was only a child at the time, but the tragedy must have haunted his community and his imagination for years to come. You bet your sweet bippy it did. It really, really did. If you want to look up more information on some things like that we do not talk about in black history, you Google the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots, and you will find out how this country loves you. And speaking of this country, I've got some things I've got to say. I got to get off my chest, and I've got to say some things on that as well. But right now, I'm going to take another music break. The phone lines are open. We have about 27 minutes in the live show. If you want to make a comment, if you're in the chat room, and if you want to make a comment vocally, you can dial us here while we are here live. Because once we go off the air, and if you're in the chat room, Blog Talk Radio will click off on that. Here's Priest Kirk, and we'll be right back with a little more.
Stealing, cheating, lie, they come to take my spirit away. And they come like dogs and they bark all around. We tell them that we will be no more afraid. They cannot take my spirit, cannot take my soul, cannot take my God away. Cannot take the fire of the truth, the power of the proof. They cannot take the Israelite away, no way. Dear Professor, I'm writing you this letter. I got many questions that I hope that you can answer. I skipped class because it was quite embarrassing. Every picture you showed me was black people spear chucking. And every time the class was filled with laughter, see, they got people like Columbus and they got Alexander. But I was the only one with no history at all. I thought that black people could only do was just play ball. Professor, how come you never told me about this black man? His name was Lloyd Ray. He invented a dustpan. The automatic gear shift for cars was invented by Richard Spikes, and Garrett Morgan invented the traffic lights. Professor, what a difference this would have made if you had told me the important role that my people had played. Like John Stannard, he invented the refrigerator, and the black man Frederick Jones invented the air conditioner. I didn't know John Burr invented the lawnmower, and Alexander Miles invented the elevator. Professor, if you wanted to keep me from getting bored, you should have told me the black woman Sarah Boone invented the ironing board. No, really, Professor, how come you kept this so hush-hush? You never told me Lydia Newman invented the brush. You always told me that Alexander Graham Bell invented the phone, but how come you never told me Harry Sampson invented the cell phone? Is it because he was a black man, Professor? Black like George Salmon, who invented the clothes dryer? Or like George Carver, who invented the peanut butter? Or like Paul Williams, who invented the helicopter? It was my people like Augustus Jackson who invented the ice cream, and Jan Selinger invented the shoelacing machine. Professor, you're not educating, but you're brainwashing. I see more of you and my people that are graduating. Anyway, I did some research and found it interesting to me that Dr. Daniel Williams performed the first open heart surgery. The scientist Dr. Charles Drew invented the blood bank. He found a way to preserve blood, but no one ever said thanks. Professor, I appreciate the other nation's contributions, but I think it's time you put my history in your curriculum. Sincerely yours.
For more Priest Kirk, check me out at
Sincerely yours. Preacher son. They come to rob and steal and cheat and lie. They come to take my spirit away. And they come like dogs and they bark all around. We tell them that we will be no more afraid. They cannot take my spirit, cannot take my soul, cannot take my God away. Cannot take the fire of the truth, the power of the proof. They cannot take the Israelite away. No way.
Dear Pastor, I have a few questions if you would listen. Could you show me where any Israelite called himself a Christian? Also, could you show me the page with the chapter where the Sabbath day was changed to the day after? I scratch my head because I can't see it. But how can a white Jesus hide in a black Egypt? I don't mean to disturb you and I don't mean to bug. Can you explain how one is saved without being judged? And why do you have graveyards around your church? Where is it written to christen babies at their birth? What is Christmas and where can I find it? And even then, how do you explain to your children Jeremiah 10? I read John 3:16, I read every line, but your interpretation doesn't match John 17:9. And I've checked right through and I searched all the files and I see white robes. Where do you get these black styles? And why do you teach that God's law is finished? Matthew says he who does that will diminish. And this might not even seem close to a factor, but when Jesus was baptized, it wasn't done backwards. Take me to where it's written, please. Show me where. January 1st is stated to be God's New Year. And some of you don't drink wine, but Jesus made leaders. And why do you celebrate a goddess named Easter? And Peter took a sword and chopped off a man's ear. When you say turn the other cheek, can you speak more clear? A graven image is to be broken and to be smashed. Have you ever seen God? So who's that on the stained glass? And in Revelations it talks about the 12 gates and the 12 tribes of Israel. Show me how you relate. I find the Bible to be different from the teachings of the church. I humbly seek your answers. Sincerely, Kurt.
For more Priest Kirk, check me out at
FreeZandle.com. Take my spirit away, and they come like dogs and they bark all around. We tell them that we will be no more afraid. They cannot take my spirit, cannot take my soul, cannot take my God away. Cannot take the fire of the truth, the power of the proof. They cannot take the Israelite away.
For more Priest Kirk, check me out at FreeZandle.com. All right, we are back. That's Priest Kirk talking about sincerely, talking to his professor, talking to his pastor. But I want to go into something deep. This has been on my heart all day. While at work, all day, things going on with my partner. Shout out to my boy Gabrielle. Shout out to my boy Rab. We are Men Empowered Organization. Shout out to the other leaders here at Men Empowered, as well as the people associated with the Men Empowered Organization. We have come down now to some serious times. I'm going to put on notice every enemy of the Most High. I'm listening to put you on notice. And what I'm about to get ready to say and about getting ready to read, that it's too late. Judah has woken up. We know who we are. We know who you are. We know what's going to happen at the end. So therefore, we are not afraid. I'm putting the enemies of the Most High on notice like the Gulf War. before they invaded Iraq, before they came back and liberated Kuwait, they gave the enemies fair warning to return the property, to return the rightful owners back over, and Iraq had an eviction notice. Iraq was evicted out of the territory of Kuwait at the start of the Gulf War. And I'm using this as an example so you can understand. So if this message that I'm saying right now messes up, I know that it is the enemies of the Most High that is preventing this message from getting through. But it's going to get through one way or the other. You cannot stop the Most High. The word is going to go forth, and that's that. What is about to get ready to happen is a war, spiritually, physically, among all fronts. I don't have any kind of weapons, nor am I storing up ammo or anything like that. But I have the weapon of the Most High, and I come with you with the sword of His word. I'm not preaching on emotion. I'm not speaking because of emotion, because I am speaking because I know who I am. Now, to me, what has happened over the week is evidence that the Most High is doing some things that is His will. Never in the history of this broadcast have we had so many people hungry and thirsty for the truth. It's time out for the people who want to go to these places called church and seek the Most High's word and just play church. Time out for that. It is time for you to get correct and time for you to come to the Most High correct. The children of Israel, all 12 tribes, have woken. We are in a new time, and the time now is that the children of Israel are coming together, and they have awoken. They know who they are. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Well, the time has come that knowledge is released. I hope I am coming through clearly, so there won't be any kind of interference. If anyone hears any interference, put it up in the chat room and let me know, because I know my cell phone, my laptop, all my electronic devices are monitored, and all these particular departments, federal, worldwide, state, I'm putting you on notice. I already know that you're listening to me, that you're looking at me, that you're following me, that you're monitoring me, that you're looking at my family. You're looking. What are you looking for? You think I'm going to terrorize you? You think because I bring the truth that now I become your enemy? All I am doing and all we are doing is bringing the word of the Most High. Now, all this trickery that you have been doing is going to come to, because there's not going to be any kind of way you're going to stop the words that are coming out of our mouth, because it's inspired by the Most High. So all departments, everyone that has been assigned to Men Empowered, assigned to MALACHI, etc., etc., we know who you are. So it would behoove you, just like the Allied forces talked and stand for the Iraqi military to stand down, so there will not be any kind of bloodshed or war. We say to you to stand down before Christ comes back. Because when Christ comes back, if you're not on His side, just like in Joshua chapter 2, when the Israelites came in and invaded that city, The only people that was saved in that city was Rahab and her family, because she hid the spies of Joshua and the children of Israel. Read the book. The enemies of the Most High, I behoove you to read the book. Quit playing these little spy games trying to figure out, oh, he must be a terrorist. What is he saying? What are these black people saying? I am not your enemy yet. But when the Most High comes back, you will have an enemy that you cannot even imagine to deal with. You don't have any kind of weapon to deal with Christ when he comes back with 10,000 of his angels. You will fail. Read the book. It's already written what is going to happen. What is going to happen is in Revelation and throughout the all Old Testament. Everything is already written. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Everything that is going to happen is already written, and we just playing it out. So the children of Israel are woken, and it will behoove you to be on the Most High side when he comes back. He is the landlord. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, they are the landlords, and they're coming back, and they're serving eviction notice. You're going to leave voluntarily or be on his side, follow his guidelines, or he's going to force you out with a force that you cannot compare or even imagine. All your little gadgets, looking into webcams, putting Trojans in people's computers, trying to see if you can slow the Most High's people down, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. You want me to give you a tidbit? Just a little? Nimrod tried. We talked about him on this show Sunday. In Joshua chapter 11, Nimrod tried to run things. He tried to destroy the Most High's anointed, and it failed on him. In Joshua, we're going to be going through every chapter on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be going through every chapter. We're not going to miss any. But I'm just going to give you a little taste of the chapters that we're getting to, but we have not reached yet. But if you don't have the book of Joshua, you need to have the book of Joshua. And if you're wondering, what is this Negro talking about? All you got to do is open up your Bible and read, and you will understand. Now, to my brothers and sisters who call themselves in Christ, who are outside the pre-Constantine Christianity, you are in churches that are still under pagan worship, I want to say to you is to get deep into the word of the Most High, because I was once in the churches and doing pagan things, but I woke up and I got out of there, and now I'm in and I'm doing his will to the best that I know how. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I'm still growing. But once the revelation comes to me, it's hard for me to go. How can I go back to that particular religiosity, if you want to say that? How can I go back? Now that I know that the Negroes here in America, North America, are from the tribe of Judah, and all the tribes, tribe of Benjamin in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, all the tribes that the Seminole Indians who are in Florida, as well as the tribe of Reuben, the Aborigines, and we're going to talk about them more at a later date. who are in Australia. Things are happening as we speak. Things are happening that I know that the enemy is shaking in their boots, trying to scare us. But it's too late. You can't scare us. You try to put, well, the mark of the beast is coming. Oh yeah, this and that and such and such. We are in Christ, and we are not afraid, even for our lives. We know that the Most High is going to protect us. We know we have a relationship with the Most High. We know His Word. We got the Word now, and we know who we are. How many times have you come to this website? You have listened and listened through bugs in the computer to make it go off, all of this and all of that, and la-di-da-di-da. I mean, phone lines messing up. I mean, you just trying to distort things and just give up. Just say, hey, maybe it is some truth. Yeah, it is some truth. Now, I'm going to show you a power that you cannot fight against. No weapon can fight against this. So listen closely. Do your research. I'm speaking to the enemies of the Most High. To the people of the Most High, the children of Israel, you know who you are. But let's sharpen up our weapon that is in our mouth. Now, I'm reading from Jasher, the book of Jasher. Yeah, the book of Jasher that the enemies of the Most High took out, and they tried to not let the children of Israel find it out. The book of Jasher is mentioned in Joshua chapter 10, verse 13. Joshua meditated on the word day and night. The Most High said, do this and you will have good success. Well, guess what happened to me and happening to me now? I'm meditating on the word of the Most High and having great success. Now, after looking at what my father Abraham did and what he had in him, and he was not afraid of Nimrod that we discussed on Sunday. And by the way, on that particular broadcast Sunday that we did on Nimrod, it is well over 300 people that have listened to chapter 11. So this lets me know that people are hungry for the word of the Most High. Now, here's the weapon that you cannot fight against. Jasher chapter 54, verse 1. And when Judah, this right here, let me set this up with we're going into overtime with 7 minutes to go. If you're not online, if you want to make a comment later on, we may go another hour depending on how Blog Talk Radio let me go, but I'm getting this out. Let me set this up here real quick. In Joshua chapter 54, we go to the scene now where Joseph has set the brothers up. He know that they're his brothers, but Judah and everyone else does not know that this is Joseph. They still think this is an Egyptian. And what's about to happen, Judah get riled up like I have never seen in my entire life. He get riled up, and with the strength of the Most High, he launches an assault on Egypt. And here it is. The book of Joshua chapter 54. And when Judah saw the dealings of Joseph with them, Judah approached him and broke open the door and came with his brethren before Joseph. And Judah said unto Joseph, let it not seem grievous in the sight of my Lord. May thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word before thee. And Joseph said unto him, speak. Verse 3, and Judah spoke before Joseph, and his brethren were there standing before them. And Judah said unto Joseph, surely when we first came to our Lord to buy food, consider us as spies of the land. And we brought Benjamin before thee, and thou still markest sport of us this day. Verse 4, now therefore let the king hear my words. This is Judah, our father, Judah speaking. And therefore let the king hear my words, and send, I pray thee, our brother, that he may go along with us to our father, lest thy soul perish this day with all the souls of the inhabitants of Egypt. Dost thou not know what two of my brethren, Simeon and Levi, did unto the city of Shechem, and unto 7 cities of the Amorites, on account of our sister Diana, and also what they would do for the sake of their brother Benjamin? Verse 6 of Jasher chapter 54. And I, with my strength, who am greater and mightier than both of them, come this day upon thee and thy land, if thou art unwilling to send our brother. Verse 7, hast thou not heard what our God the Most High, who made choice of us, did unto Pharaoh on account of Sarah our mother, whom he took away from our father, that he smote him and his household with heavy plagues, that even unto this day the Egyptians relate this wonder to each other. So will our God do unto thee on account of Benjamin, who thou hast this day taken from his father, on an account of this evil which thou this day hast over us in the land. For our God, the Most High, will remember his covenant with our father Abraham, and bring evil upon thee, because thou hast grieved the soul of our father this day. Verse 8, now therefore hear my words, that I have this day spoken unto thee, and send our brother, that he may go away, lest thou and the people of the land die by the sword, for you cannot all prevail over me. Verse 9, and Joseph answered Judah, saying, why hast thou opened wide thy mouth, and why do thou boast over us, saying, strength is with thee? As Pharaoh liveth, if I command all my vigilant men to fight with thee, surely thou and these thy brethren would sink in thy mere. And Judah said unto Joseph, now Judah still does not know who Joseph is. Surely it becometh thee and thy people to fear me, as the Lord liveth, if I once draw my sword, I shall not shackle it again. I shall this day have slain all Egypt, and I will commence with thee, and finish with Pharaoh thy master. This is Judah speaking. Verse 11, and Joseph answered and said unto him, surely strength belongeth not alone to thee. I am strong and mightier than thou. Surely if thou drawest thy sword, I will put it to thy neck, and the neck of all thy brethren. Now you got to know that these are two black men just basically bumping chests, trying to see who the baddest. Now you got to know that these are two black men. Now Egypt is black, comes from Ham, and Shem is black. And the descendants of Shem are the people here in America, the ones that were persecuted by this spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, the United States of America, also known as Babylon. Moving on, verse 12. And Judah said unto him, surely if I this day open my mouth against thee, I would swallow thee up, that thou be destroyed from off the earth, and perish this day from thy kingdom. And Joseph said, surely if thou open thy mouth, I have power and might. I have power and might to close thy mouth with a stone, until thou shalt not be able to utter a word. See how many stones are before us. Truly, I can take a stone and force it into thy mouth and break thy jaws. Y'all, this is two black men speaking now. I just want y'all to know this. One does not know that this is his brother he's talking to. Verse 13. And Judah said, the Most High is witness between us, that we have not hitherto desired to battle with thee. Only give us our brother, and we will go from thee. And Joseph answered and said, as Pharaoh liveth, if all the kings of Canaan came together with you, you shall not take him from my hand. This is like in Crenshaw, the Bloods and the Crips bumping chests, battling each other. Okay, I'm going to read verse 14. And therefore, go your way to your father, and your brother shall be unto me for a slave, for he has robbed the king's house. And Judah said, what is it to thee, or to the character of the king? Surely the king sent it forth from his house throughout the land, silver and gold, either in gifts or expenses. And thou still talkest about thy cup, which thou didst place in the brother's bag, and said that he has stolen it from thee. In other words, boy, you set him up in the first place. I ain't going to take this crap from you. Verse 15. The Most High forbid that our brother Benjamin or any of the seed of Abraham should do this thing to steal from thee or from anyone else, whether king, prince, or any man. Verse 16. Now therefore cease this accusation, lest the whole earth hear thy words, saying, for a little silver the king of Egypt wrangled with the men, and he accused them their brother for a slave. Verse 17. And Joseph answered and said, take unto you this cup, and go from me, and leave your brother for a slave, for it is the judgment of a thief to be a slave. Verse 18. And Judah said, why art thou not ashamed of thy words, to leave our brother and to take the cup? Surely if thou givest up us thy cup, or 1,000 times as much, we will not leave our brother for the silver which is found in the hand of any man. that we will not die over him. Verse 19. And Joseph answered, and why did you forsake your brother and sell him for 20 pieces of silver unto this day? And why then will you not do the same to this your brother? Now you see that Joseph is calling his brothers on the carpet, wondering why did they not come to his rescue. But Joseph does not know what Judah is about to get ready to say about his brother that he did not know he was speaking to. Verse 20. And Judah said, the Most High is witness between me and thee, that we deserve not thy battles. Now therefore give us our brother, and we will go from without quarreling. Verse 21. And Joseph answered and said, if all the kings of the land should assemble, they will not be able to take your brother from my hand. And Judah said, what shall we say unto our father when he said that our brother cometh not with us, and will grieve over him? And Joseph answered and said, this is the thing which you shall tell your father, saying, the rope has gone after the bucket. And Judah said, surely thou art a king, and why speakest thou these things, giving a false judgment? Woe unto the king who is like unto thee. Verse 24. And Joseph answered and said, there is no false judgment in the word that I spoke on account of your brother Joseph. For all of you sold him to the Midianites for 20 pieces of silver. And you all denied it to your father, and said unto him, an evil beast has devoured him. Joseph has been torn to pieces. Verse 25. And Judah said, behold, the fire of Shem burneth in my heart. Now I will burn all your land with fire. And Joseph answered and said, surely thy sister-in-law Tamar, who killed your sons, extinguished the fire of Shinneh. Verse 26. And Judah said, if I pluck out a hair from my flesh, I will fill all Egypt with its blood. And Joseph answered and said, such is your custom to do as you did to your brother who sold, and you dipped his in blood and brought it to your father in order that he might say an evil beast devoured him, and here is his blood. Verse 28. And when Judah heard this thing, he was exceedingly wroth, and his anger burned within him. And there was before him in that place a stone, the weight of which was about 400 shekels. And Judah's anger was kindled, and he took the stone in one hand and cast it to the heavens, and he caught it with his left hand. Verse 29. And he placed it afterward under his leg, and he sat up on it with all his strength, and the stone was turned into dust from the force of Judah. Verse 30. And Joseph saw the act of Judah, and he was very much afraid. But he commanded Manasseh Here's another tribe. Ching, 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 ching. Just want you to listen to this name, y'all. 12 tribes. Here's the adoption of Manasseh. You hear it, Manasseh, Joseph's son, Manasseh, his son, and he also did with another stone, like unto the act of Judah. And Judah said unto his brethren, let not any of you say, this man is an Egyptian. We are now ready to identify a Hebrew Israelite that looked like an Egyptian, they thought was an Egyptian. Let not any of you say, this man is an Egyptian, but by his doing this thing, he is of our father's family. Verse 31, and Joseph said, not to you only is strength given, for we are also powerful men. And why will you boast over us all? And Judah said unto Joseph, send, I pray thee, our brother, and ruin not thy country this day. And Joseph answered and said unto them, go and tell your father, an evil beast had devoured him, as you said concerning your brother Joseph. And Judah spoke to his brother Naphtali, you prolific islanders, this is your tribe, if you didn't know that, Naphtali. And he said unto him, make haste now, and number all the streets of Egypt, and come and tell me. And Simeon said unto him, let not this thing be a trouble to thee. Now I will go to the mount and take up one large stone from the mount and level it at every one in Egypt, and kill all that are in it. Verse 34, and Joseph heard all these words that his brethren spoke before him, and they did not know that Joseph understood them, for they imagined that he knew not to speak Hebrew. Verse 35, excuse me, and was greatly afraid. Yeah, he has the knowledge. He knows it. And Joseph was greatly afraid at the words of his brethren, lest they should destroy Egypt. And he commanded his son Manasseh, saying, go now, make haste, and gather unto me all the inhabitants of Egypt, and all the valiant men together, and let them come to me now upon horseback and on foot, and with all sorts of musical instruments. And Manasseh went and did so. Now, for the enemies of the Most High, I want you to pay attention, because what I spoke, you can only push a people too much longer to where they find out who they are, and then they start calling on the Most High to protect them. So pay attention, the enemies of the Most High. This will be your fate. Verse 36, and Naphtali went as Judah had commanded. For Naphtali was light-footed as one of the swift stag, and he would go up on the ears of the corn, and they would not break under his feet. Now you let that sink in. Ask yourself a question. How did Christ walk on the water? Think on that. That's why you wanted to take the book of Jasher away and keep it hidden up, locking up. Verse 37, and he went and numbered all the streets of Egypt, and found them to be 12. And he came hastily and told Judah, and Judah said unto his brethren, Hasten you and put on every man his sword until upon his loins, and we will come over Egypt and smite them all, and let not a remnant remain. And Judah said, Behold, I will destroy 3 of the streets with my strength, and you shall each destroy 1 street. And when Judah was speaking this thing, behold, the inhabitants of Egypt and all the mighty men came toward them with all sorts of musical instruments and with loud shouting. Verse 39, and their number was 500 cavalry and 10,000 infantry and 400 men who could fight without sword or spear, only with their hands and strength. Now, you're looking at less than 12 men fighting all of these men. Verse 40, and all the mighty men came with great storming and shouting, and they all surrounded the sons of Jacob and terrified them. And the ground, I got to read this again. Enemies of the Most High, you did not see this. You Gentiles who don't want to come to Christ, who do not want to know the natural branch are the children of Israel. You despise them. You coming against the natural branch. I want you to pay attention. Pay close attention. Verse 40. And all the mighty men came with great storming and shouting, and they all surrounded the sons of Jacob and terrified them, and the ground quaked at the sound of their shouting. Sound like a big hoorah for Egypt, right? Verse 41. And when the sons of Jacob saw these troops, they were greatly afraid of their lives. And Joseph did so in order to terrify the sons of Jacob to become tranquilized. Verse 42. And Judah, seeing some of the brethren terrified, said unto them, Why are you afraid while the grace of the Most High is with us? And when Judah saw all the people of Egypt surrounding them at the command of Joseph to terrify them, only Joseph commanded them, saying, Do not touch any of them. Verse 43, Then Judah hastened and drew his sword. Now get ready. Get ready. Here it comes. This is why they call us the Lion of Judah. Verse 43, Then Judah hastened and drew his sword, and uttered a sound, a bitter scream. And he smote with his sword, and sprung up on the ground, and he still continued to shout against all the people. Verse 44, And when he did this thing, the Most High caused the terror of Judah and his brethren to fall upon the valiant men and all the people that surrounded them. Verse 45, And they all fled at the sound of the shouting, and they were terrified and fell one upon the other, and many of them died as they fell, and they all fled from before Judah and his brethren, and from before Joseph. And verse 46, And whilst they were fleeing, Judah and his brethren pursued them unto the house of the Pharaoh, and they all escaped. And Judah again sat before Joseph and roared at him like a lion, gave a great and tremendous screech at him. Verse 47, And the screech was heard at a distance, and all the inhabitants of the Sukkah heard it, and all Egypt quaked at the sound of the squirt. If I can't pronounce it, it's so painful. And also the walls of Egypt and of the land of Goshen fell in from the shaking of the earth. And Pharaoh also fell from his throne up on the ground. And also this is so horrific. You have to just imagine it. Up on the ground, also all the pregnant women of Egypt and Goshen miscarried when they heard the noise of the shaking, for they were terribly afraid. And Pharaoh sent word saying, what is this thing that has this day happened in the land of Egypt? And they came and told him all the things from the beginning to end. And Pharaoh was alarmed, and he wondered and was greatly afraid. Verse 49, and his fright increased when he heard all these things, and he sent up unto Joseph, saying, thou hast brought unto me the Hebrews to destroy all Egypt. What wilt thou do with the thieving slave? Send him away and let him go with his brethren, and let us not perish through their evil, even we, you, and all Egypt. And if thou desire not to do these things, cast off from thee all my valuable things, and go with them to their land, if you delightest in it, for they will this day destroy my whole country, and slay all my people. Even all the women of Egypt have miscarried through their screams. See what they have done merely by the shouting and speaking. Moreover, if they fight with the sword, they will destroy the land. Now therefore choose that which thou desirest, whether me or the Hebrews, whether Egypt or the land of the Hebrews. Verse 51, and came and told Joseph all the words of the Pharaoh that he had said concerning him. And Joseph was greatly afraid at the words of Pharaoh, and Judah and his brethren were still standing before Joseph, ignited and enraged. And all the sons of Jacob roared at Joseph like the roaring of the sea and its waves. Verse 52, and Joseph was greatly afraid of his brethren and on account of Pharaoh. And Joseph sought a pretext to make himself known unto his brethren, lest they should destroy all Egypt. Verse 53, and Joseph commanded his son Manasseh, and Manasseh went and approached Judah, and placed his hand upon his shoulder. And the anger of Judah was still. And Judah said unto his brethren, let no one of you say that this is the act of an Egyptian youth, for this is the work of my father's house. Verse 55, and Joseph seeing and knowing that Judah's anger was still, he approached to speak unto Judah in the language of mildness. And Joseph said unto Judah, surely you speak truth. Surely you speak truth, and have this day verified your assertion concerning your strength. And may the Most High, who delighted in you, increase your welfare. But tell me truly, why from among all thy brethren dost thou wrangle with me on account of this lad, as none of them have spoken one word to me concerning him? Verse 57, And Judah answered Joseph, saying, Surely thou must know that I was security for the lad to his father, saying, If I brought him not unto him, I should bear his blame forever. Verse 58, Therefore have I approached thee from amongst all my brethren, for I saw that thou wast unwilling to suffer him to go from thee. Now therefore may I find grace in thy sight, that thou shalt send him to go with us, and behold, I will remain as a substitute for him. Here it is, he's giving his life. Judah is giving his life for Benjamin, to serve thee in whatever thou desire. For wheresoever thou shalt send me, I will go to serve thee with great energy. Verse 59, Send me now to a mighty king who has rebelled against thee, and thou shalt know what I will do unto him and unto his land. Although he may have cavalry and infantry of an exceedingly mighty people, I will slay them all and bring the king's head before thee. Verse 60, Dost thou not know, or hast thou not heard, our father Abraham with his servant Elzer smote all the kings of Elam with their hosts in one night? They left not one remaining. And ever since that day our father's strength was given unto us for an inheritance, for us and our seed forever. How long is forever? Remember that great rap group, Forever? Forever, ever? Forever? Forever is forever. So you Hebrews, you people of Judah, I got to let you know, you need to wake up and claim your inheritance, because our Father has given us an inheritance forever. We have it on the inside of us. Wake up. And for the enemies of the Most High, you wake up. All your chips, all your chemtrails, all your vaccines, it's not working. We are already woke. The gig is up. We know who you are. Who do you know about us? Do you know who you are? We know who Edom is. We know who the Edomites is. We know they are the descendants of Esau. We know all the descendants. We know this. Quit playing these spy games with my computer. Quit playing with the Most High's people, his children. We are here, and we're not going away. We're coming to evict this property, and it is an inheritance for us. Now, I'm done. This is an hour and a half, and we've talked, and you all played around. I'm speaking to the enemies of the Most High, and wake up. If you want to be with us forever, you must bless Israel, and we are Israel, not the land, the people. Now, my name is Malachi, and I am signing off right now unless someone in the queue has a comment. It is late, but you know what? It's been late before. And so we're going to end. And on that note, I am going to go ahead and let our brothers take you out, hence featuring Uriah from the CD Appetizer, I Know Who I Am. Shalom, everybody.
I know who you are. Yeah, I say I know who you are. Yeah, come on. We stiff neck, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious.
I know who you are, boy. You need some
some help. Open your mind and free yourself. Truth and knowledge overpowers wealth. Put education on the shelf and take a second look and see which route you took. Fall in love with a bunch of crooks and forget you're the children of that book. To the enemies they told you, made you believe anything they told you, and left you with two decisions. You could choose death or choose religion. But you fell off Jacob's ladder and chose to listen to the master. Got caught in the devil's rapture. Now your life is a whole disaster.
Yeah, I said I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. We stiff-necked, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious, our style.
We're the only ones can't see it. Got the truth but don't believe it. Cursed with being disobedient. The days enslaved in Egypt. Then Moses said, let my people go. Still we act like we ain't know who was our father. We didn't even bother to listen. And not to mention we blatantly worship others. We went from one to another. We threw stones at our brothers. When they was trying to just bring us back to the truth, there's nothing wrong with that. Like Stephanos in the book of Acts. And all he did was take it back.
Yeah, I said I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. We stiff-necked, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious, our style.
I know the keepers of the law were standing tall, staying righteous above them all. What's the call, coach? The other teams fit with many men that's lost hope, cause they don't know the identity, but I do, so they envy me. Cause you're a nation of people that's so rebellious, accusers of your brother. When he speaks the truth, you get jealous, but I stay on the core with all my righteous fellas, cause we know who we are, there's nothing else that you can tell us.
Yeah, I said I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. Yeah, I said I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. We wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious, our style. To be like them, we try. Our own culture, we deny. So unaware, we blind. We searching for a sign. I know who you are. 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 Who you are. I know who you are. I know who you are.